going to briefly speak to you about my general career evolution and how EPI really helped me to get here. So as Lorenzo said, I currently work for FAO in the Office of Climate Change, Environment and Biodiversity. And I'm currently in Rome, and I moved here just after I graduated from EPI. So immediately after submitting my thesis, I moved to Rome. And so I've been here for about 1.5 years now, working as an environmental economist consultant. And so I've been a part of 2 programs. The first one, which is the NAP Ag program, which is integrating agriculture into national adaptation plans. This is a program that's already ended, but essentially what we were doing in this program was to sort of carry out cost-benefit analyses in order to identify cost-effective adaptation strategies within our partner countries' agriculture sectors. And right now, I am working under a program called SCALA, which stands for the Support Program on Scaling Up Climate Ambition on Land Use and Agriculture through NDCs and NAPs. And for those who might not be so familiar with the terms, NDCs, of course, are nationally determined contributions, and NAPs are national adaptation plans. And so this is a joint program that's implemented by FAO and UNDP, so United Nations Development Program, and was funded through the German government. And it's going to be operational for the next 5 years. And we're working in Latin America and in Asia and in Africa. And I personally am focusing on the country work plans in Uganda and Ethiopia. And so Scala is essentially, I mean, in Italian, it translates to ladder. Maybe Lorenzo can correct me. But the idea sort of being that Scala wants to sort of scale up these current efforts of climate action to a higher level in the country, since the current levels are currently inadequate. And so the work we do here is to sort of look at what is preventing the countries from scaling up. For example, you know, looking at the financial barriers, the institutional barriers, or the social, technological barriers. And so then we sort of tailor our activities within the agriculture sector to ensure that that climate ambition is scaling up. And the idea of using these NAPs and NDCs as entry points is really to sort of recognize their importance as these long-term climate planning tools, really, that also are sort of a national voice for articulating a country's adaptation needs, especially because, you know, FAO works with a lot of developing countries, and adaptation, especially in their agriculture sector, is going to be a really key part of their climate agenda, right? So this was my work at FAO, and I'm just going to, well, I thought I would maybe spend a couple of minutes just reflecting on how EPI really did help me to get here. And I think there were a few things. Firstly, I think the rigorous training that we had at EPI, you know, we were developing very technical skills that have almost always come in handy when I've been doing my work here at FAO. And also in job interviews. I mean, in order to prove your technicality, that sort of training really did give me a bit of an edge. And I think also, of course, the internationally recognized institution that UCL is definitely a plus point, you know, when you are applying for jobs. And I think also, of course, the the sort of exceptional staff that we were working with. I mean, I remember one of the main sort of stepping stones, I would say, between EPI and my job here was my master's dissertation. And I think it was really interesting that I was sort of working with not just the teaching staff at UCL, but also these researchers at the Center for Environment, Fisheries, and Aquaculture Science, so CFAS. And I think the sort of work that we were doing externally with these partners was really useful as well. And of course, this provided opportunities to connect, you know, I mean, it did, I think, through this master's dissertation and through the sort of external people that we were connecting with, it was also possible to find job opportunities, not just at FAO, but also at CFAS. And so finally, well, I was asked to give 3 sort of tips for finding employment opportunities, and I know that this is extremely. I think it's very personal, and it depends a lot on your journey and a lot on your, you know, your unique combination of skill sets. But I think for me, one of the things I was really grateful for at EPI was really that the teaching staff, and especially Lorenzo, was really key in sort of honing in on that passion that I had, especially with regards to behavioral economics, you know, where I think Lorenzo and I, we've been trying to do a lot of work in the behavioral economics sphere, and trying to expand this relatively new discipline into the sort of mainstream policy stream. And so, in fact, we're now actually exploring behavioral economics applications in climate change resilience in the agriculture sector. And so the second thing is definitely, I would say, to be proactive. I think it definitely pays off to reach out to, you know, colleagues, and reach out to the staff, and to reach out to even students, to make sure that you are making these connections that will take you along. And I think the third thing is just definitely always stay patient. I think I was probably one of the really lucky ones to get a job offer immediately after my master's thesis, but I think just looking back at my past career explorations, it was definitely a good thing to stay patient. And so I will stop here. And yeah, looking forward to chatting to everybody more.